two teams, we've talked about it all week, Tyler. It's almost Groundhog Day. Two teams with disappointing seasons who never thought they'd be sitting there staring at each other at 4-7 and 6-5.
I was going to say, we thought this was going to be a matchup of two teams coming in here with probably about 10 wins apiece, not two teams coming in here with 10 wins combined.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing season on both sides. Obviously South Carolina, we've been going through it all year. A team that hadn't won since late September until last Saturday with the curb stomping of Coastal at Williams-Brice. But a team that was close to, 3 wins through that losing streak. They just couldn't close the deal in the fourth quarter against Bama, obviously against A&M. Had a shot against Missouri, and you couldn't seal the deal. You were within one score of Ole Miss early in the fourth quarter, early third quarter, and you let that one get away from you. So it's not like you have been, boat raced all year. You have been just close enough to frustrate everyone involved, and now you're sitting at 4-7.
And when Coach Beamer talks about being close, everybody rolls their eyes. Nobody wants to hear that because at the end of the day, you're losing games. But he's not wrong. It's not like you're getting blown out 49-7 by all these teams. You are in these games in the fourth quarter. That inability to close, though, has been the frustrating part because when you have a team like that on the road, especially the A&M game where it looked like that thing was all locked up at halftime, and then you have a historical collapse in the second half. That's what drives this fan base nuts, and rightfully so.
Think about this just for a minute. In the land of what if, because we all live in the land of what if every now and then. It's a wonderful place, isn't it? The land of what if is great.
That's right.
I have my hair back in the land of what if. But anyway, if you win, if you beat A&M, if you hold on, I'm not going to go crazy on Missouri and Ole Miss and all that. If you hold on against A&M and you hold on and you win that game you should have won against Alabama, you're a 6-win team, and yeah, it's still disappointing, but at least you're coming into today with a chance of A, to get a 7th win, and B, you're going to a bowl game. Heck, even if you would have held on against A&M, you're playing for a bowl game today.
Yeah, and you would be talking about two of the biggest wins in all of college football this year, and A&M until last night was obviously undefeated. So, yeah, again, it's kind of putting those final pieces together and figuring out where you're coming up short to try and complete pieces of the puzzle. Obviously, this season's lost to this point. You're at least playing for the opportunity to beat your rival and have those bragging rights for the next year, but you already kind of got one eye focused on 2026 and making things better for what's going to be a make-or-break year for Coach Beamer.
And now, again, Shane, because this is what you have to do. You've got guys in the locker room and seniors and folks who still, hey, we got a game to play. We got a rivalry game.
Hey, wait a minute,
let's not get
guys.
into 2026 yet, fellas. I know you need an OC and all this other stuff. Whoa, hey, everybody take a breath. And by the way, it's the rivalry game. And this is a game where South Carolina's favored. How about that?
For the first time in
It's
at
been a
least
while.
a decade.
It's been a minute since South Carolina's been favored in this game. Right now, the line is back down to 2.5. It got up to like 3 or 3.5 for a bit. Now it's back down to 2.5. And the ESPN predictor, which is never wrong,
That's right.
South Carolina a 63.5% chance to win today at Williams-Brice. Clemson, on the other hand, it's been kooky. I'm sitting here looking at it right now. The Tigers this season, you start off 1-3, and the season's over. You're done.
The
college football playoff purposes, your season's over at 1-3 in the ACC,
yes.
unless you win the ACC championship, right? Your season's
right.
over. Then Clemson bounced back and they beat, North Carolina, Boston College, even though both games were on the road. So they're like, okay, 3-3, the ship might be back in the right direction. Well, then you lose to SMU and you lose to Duke, and now you're 3-5, and everybody wants to burn everything down.
Yep.
And then now you're on a 3-game win streak. And now you're 6-5, but everybody still wants to burn everything down because you're Clemson and you shouldn't be 6-5.
Yeah, they were on the short list to win the national championship this year, and going to the Fenway Bowl is not necessarily a good compliment a good compensation prize for what this season.
They're not playing the college football playoff at the Fenway Bowl.
They're not.
Really?
No, not last time I checked. And I don't think they're going to be doing that anytime in the future. So don't count on
it. You don't think that's going to happen?
I don't.
All right. So with Clemson, at least Clemson's going bowling.
Yes.
And you're right. Fenway Bowl, Pinstripe Bowl, anything in the Northeast where you freeze your bazookas off is not really where you want to be this time of year in college football. But Clemson at least is going to go to a bowl game, which, again, that fan base now, with the level in which Clemson has achieved in the last 10 to 12 years, anything less than a college football playoff is a ginormous disappointment.
And you know what? They've earned that because that's how good that they have been. And even last year in what was deemed to be a down year. And again, we thought Carolina had eliminated them from college football playoff contention in this game a year ago. They found a way to get in by the virtue of Syracuse beating Miami later on that day, won the ACC and made the playoff before losing to Texas there in that opening round. But again, that's where their bar of expectation is every single year, even in bad years. It should be just a low seed in the playoff or something along those lines. So to be sitting here possibly going 6-6 or 7-5 is unacceptable. And the fan base, we've heard it all week long. We've been reading about it this entire year. Rightfully not happy.
And the percentage of Clemson fans that I talk to, most of them are looking at me saying, South Carolina's going to win, right?
Yeah. Oh, they are eternal doomers right now.
It's interesting. My 4 years here, I have never heard Clemson fans this low on their football team.
Yeah.
I just haven't. Injury-wise, South Carolina is healthy, relatively healthy for this game. And we don't get an injury report because, well, it's not an SEC game. But it feels like, except Jalewis Solomon, it feels like everyone's good to go. Dylan Stewart's ready to roll. Nick Harbor's ready to go.
Yep.
It feels like your first two levels, your ones and twos, are relatively healthy for this game.
And all things considered, it's been a relatively healthy season. Yeah, you lost Case and Henry halfway through, but compared to what we've seen in the past couple of years, you've gotten off pretty good. And again, it seemed like Dylan Stewart and Nick Harbor sitting out last week was more precautionary than anything else. Makes a lot of sense. And sounds like, and again, Beamer wasn't going to tell us everything about it, but it sounds like those guys are on track to be good to go for today. And you're going to need both of them.
Yes. Both of them are going to be important to your game plan because, and we'll get to more of this later, Nick Harbor could be running behind the Clemson secondary with the ball in his hands today.
There's a good opportunity for
yes,
that.
There
that
is.
That is certainly a weak point of this Tigers defense.
And the flip side is Dylan Stewart. Obviously, like usual, Dylan Stewart will be doubled and will be chipped and everything else. But Clemson has given up pressure in 35% of Cade Klubnik's dropbacks. So there is opportunity there as well for Dylan Stewart to eat today.
Yeah.
Weather, 43 degrees, 0% precipitation, sunshine today for kickoff right now. It's just bleeping cold. We were outside just bringing the stuff in. I lost feeling in my hands.
Yeah, well, we've gotten really lucky with the weather at home games this year. Even last weekend, I mean, it's like 65, 70
I
degrees.
was in
felt
shorts
great.
Here the last time we did a show.
I know.
For a pregame.
The last game, the rivalry game. Maybe this is our punishment for what the season has been. It's like, all right, you guys finally get a bitter cold game. So, yeah, at least it'll be in the sunshine today, clear conditions, so you don't have to worry about the sun going down and then getting colder. But hopefully you got heaters at your tailgate if you're out getting ready for this game.
Yes. All right, Gamecocks game day. We were live at Jay's Corner. I mean, I'm telling you now, we've talked about it all year. We have been sampling the menu here because it's our job.
I think I've tried everything at this point.
And it's all good. And, I love the Captain Crunch chicken tenders.
I never would have thought to coat chicken tenders in Captain Crunch. But now I'm like, what other cereals can we do?
It's like, can we do it in Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Cocoa Pebbles?
Cocoa Pebbles would be good. You can't do Apple Jacks. I thought about that. Could you do Apple Jacks?
Maybe.
Apple Jacks very underrated.
We're Americans, not Americans.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. All right. And again, the menu's phenomenal here. Tons of beverage choices. Either come here on your way to Willie B or just stay here and watch the game where it's nice and warm.
They have
it is
heat
warm
lamps
in here.
outside too.
So you're good.
If you have to sit outside, they do have warming mechanisms.
Yep. So you are good to go. So we'll be here for Gamecocks game day. We go till 9. Then Chris Miller and Chet Tucker and the crew take over with the network pregame noon kick with Todd and Tommy. Rivalry game is finally here.
Those guys have seen a few of these matchups over the years.
Just a couple. But we played a lot of highlights yesterday. Todd and Tommy are on a lot of the highlights.
Most of it. If not playing in them, calling them.
Exactly. All right, we will come back and we will rewind to last week's devastation of Coastal and hear from our buddy Ryan Brewer as we get our final little taste of brew for the 2025 season. It is Gamecocks Game Day live from Jay's Corner right across from Williams-Brice, sponsored by LexMed Ortho on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game. Looking back on what was a boat race, a demolition, a curb stomping, pick 'em. Pick a description of what South Carolina did to Coastal last Saturday.
A palate cleanser.
I like that.
And look, I know it's Coastal. They were
Mhm.
down the starting quarterback.
Mhm.
They were missing a couple key guys on defense. You hadn't won a game in 2 months, and I don't care if
Yeah.
it's Ohio State or the Little Sisters of the Poor
Mhm.
football team. Winning is winning.
I look at it this way, and I'll say this, and if you know, you know, it was a slump buster.
Yes.
Makes sense if you know what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Yes,
Slump
it was.
buster.
You needed that.
You needed that one, and
Now you're feeling good about yourself.
it doesn't matter who you broke the slump on. It was a slump buster, and that's how
you wake up in the morning feeling good about yourself. That's what you needed.
Literally.
Yes.
So anyway, that's what it was. And look, the thing about this game, to be honest, and then we know it was Coastal, 121st ranked defense in efficiency in the country, very low rated in all sorts of metrics, no matter what you're looking at with stats. Bottom line was, it wasn't who you did it to. It's the fact you did it.
Yes, for the first time in 2 months.
You did something you have not done really all year, and that's your offense was explosive and aggressive and took the wood to somebody and took the belt to somebody, and that's what we haven't seen with that offense all year.
And really, outside of the block punt, you were flawless in pretty much all three facets of the game, which again is something you have not been able to say at all this year.
And by the way, how annoyed was Shane Beamer, special teams guru, Beamer Ball, that the one thing that happened was the block punt?
Yeah, and look, every coach is looking for some kind of thing. He was probably sitting there in the fourth quarter like, all right, I got to be angry about something in film review tomorrow. All right, block punt, perfect.
Just handed it to him, too. You can tell Dad probably called, son, special teams?
Block punt against
block
Coastal?
Punt?
Come on.
What are we doing, son? I taught you better than that. But it was almost flawless except for a couple of penalties on the offensive line and a block punt. Wasn't a whole lot to really try to turn any kind of negativity to. Even the only thing you had last week was Coastal. That was it.
Yeah.
But, you start the game off with a Jaden Sellers 75-yard touchdown run off the little screen, and you just continued to be aggressive and go after a Coastal defense. That's what you do to a bad defense. You punish it, and that's what South Carolina did. But they didn't do that against South Carolina State early in the year.
Well, and that's the thing is Coach Beamer, unfortunately, has a history of playing some of these teams close. We were here for the Old Dominion game last year, the SC State game earlier on the street, the Georgia State game a couple years ago. Like, it's not
Jacksonville State.
It's not always a guarantee that South Carolina is going to put these teams away. So seeing them do that, especially after going on the long losing streak they've been on, again, in the moment, felt good, gave you some momentum going into the week. Is that going to necessarily translate over to playing Clemson today? I don't know, but you at least feel good about it.
And some things we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Look, out of the 4 halves of football that Mike Furry has been the play caller / interim offensive collaborator, whatever we're calling him, 3 out of these 4 halves, South Carolina offensively has been really good.
Yes.
And of course, obviously, the entire team soiled themselves in the second half against A&M. What we've been seeing, though, in my opinion, is some things that make you scratch your head why you weren't seeing it earlier. And look, again, Mike Shula has been in football his entire life. The dude has sneezed out more football than I'll ever know. But why weren't you using Jawarn Howe? Why weren't you, getting the ball out of Lenore Sellers' hand quicker and get the ball into playmakers who might be able to get some yak yards? You have a porous offensive line. Why are you running long developing routes with no safety valves or underneath to have some route combinations? Why aren't you doing things to enhance your quarterback's chance to be successful? Some of the things we've seen in the last 2 weeks, you go like this, hey, great, and then you go, why wasn't anybody thinking about this earlier?
Yeah, Jawarn Howe's got 16 touches on the year. 9 of them have come in the past 2 games.
Yeah, and with Hal, it's just the idea of, is he just not good in pass pro? Is he a guy that some guys process the game plan better than others?
You're not practicing the right
not
way.
Not a practice guy. All I know is this. I see Jawarn Howell on the field, and we saw this last year in the bowl game before he fumbled, and then he was dead to everyone. There's something there with Howell. You watch him and you go, there's something there that they need to use him more.
Do you think, because we bring that up a lot with Howell in the bowl game, that was obviously the first game that Mike Shula called plays. Do you think that started him off on the wrong
Yep,
foot. With
absolutely,
Shula,
the fumble.
And he was never
Yep.
able to recover from that.
Yep, I said that to Jay early last week. I said, I think that fumble put him in a doghouse he couldn't get out of with Mike Shula.
Yeah, because again, in the past 2 weeks, when he's gotten touches, he's made plays, and I fully expect him to be a huge part of the game plan today.
In the screen game.
Yes.
And even the A&M game,
Because
the 9-yard screen. Remember to set up that second and one where you had the sacks.
Well, that was the thing we knew about him coming out of SC State is the guy has hands. He can get involved in the pass game, and I don't think he had any passes thrown his way in Shula's scheme earlier on this year. But Furry's like, heck yeah, let's throw the guy the ball.
Yeah, and so we saw an offense that was explosive, a defense that was also attack. You know what you saw? You saw aggressiveness and attacking on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
That's what we saw. And it was a phenomenal 4 quarters at Willie B. And I like how you put it, cleansing the palate, your slump buster, whatever you want to call it. South Carolina got back in the W column with a nice win over Coastal, and you want to build upon that, obviously, today against Clemson, noon kick here on 107.5 The Game. Ryan Brewer, our final shot of brew for 2025. Here's our conversation with Ryan Brewer.
Hear from former Gamecock Ryan Brewer on Gamecocks Game Day. Live from O'Hara's in downtown Lexington. Sponsored by LexMed Ortho on your flagship home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Gamecocks Game Day live this morning from Jay's Corner right across from Williams Bryce, getting you ready for South Carolina Clemson. It's rivalry week, and who better to talk to than the man who doesn't just hate Clemson, he hates everyone as soon as he walks on the field. Former Gamecock Ryan Brewer, a little bit of early morning brew. All right, man, rivalry week. How lathered up are you, hours before kickoff?
Well, you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning, Terry. So, these noon games will get you going, and you got to get the blood, or it was the alcohol blood level going right away. So, no, it's exciting. It's fun. Every year having this rivalry game and playing against the team from the upstate, wearing purple and orange, the worst colors in the world, and being able to go out there and cheer our Gamecocks on. But both teams not having a great season, but this still means a lot more every week, every year.
Former Gamecock Ryan Brewer, a little bit of brew as we get you ready for South Carolina Clemson. Noon kickoff right here on 107.5 The Game in Columbia and our affiliate 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. Give me, out of your years you played in this rivalry, give me your best moment for you, Ryan Brewer.
Man, I mean, you got the 1 W against them, but it's every game's been special. Battle we've had, even freshman year, we were 0-11. We put up a good fight against them. We had some moments there, but I remember the negatives, which I've told you this before more than I remember anything else. So, I've had a drop punt against them freshman year. Then also had my shoulder pad broken. Shoulder got a little separated. Had a good punt return after that because I couldn't wait for a fair catch. I've had moments, even like the push off game, where we thought we had this 1-1, and they had the push off, hit the field goal to the last second to win that game, and their crowd rushed the field. They rushed the field every game, no matter what, but they did it. And that was after our kickoff return. We had 1 second left, and we had a player supposed to lateral back to me, and the ball got on the ground. It just came a little skirmish there. But I look up, and all the fans, student sections are in the field, and I'm thinking something crazy is going to happen. But honestly, all the Clemson fans, and especially students, were very, very nice to us out there. It was kind of crazy, but it's just every time you step on the field, it's a big moment. Especially when you're going up against this team, and you can just feel the energy, you can feel the crowd level. It's just so much different. It's so much different. Just and I still implore every player that's on there to please take a moment, look around, and see what's out there, and take a grasp of what you're actually playing for. And you're playing for your brothers next to you, yes, but this means so much more for the state. You're playing for everyone wearing that garnet and black in that stadium, because you have to have those bragging rights for the whole year.
Ryan Brewer with us, former Gamecock, a little bit of brew on Gamecocks Game Day. We go to around 9, and the network takes over with Chris and the crew. Then Todd and Tommy on the call, noon kickoff, South Carolina Clemson, right here on the game. All right, so how does South Carolina win this football game, Ryan Brewer?
They play smart. I think right now, yes, it was Coastal, but we have some momentum going towards us offensively. We got some firepower and some with the OC, what's going on there. Just I think it's brought a little more life to us offensively. But Lenore Sellers has to be the old Superman Lenore Sellers and make sure he's doing crazy things out there, but not turning the ball over. It's going to be one of those games that's going to come down to a pivotal play here or there, be a turnover, special teams play, or be just even a big momentum shift and like a big hit by somebody or something where it just gets the crowd into it, and you're going to see the momentum go there. Either team right now thinks they're really good until that moment happens, and all of a sudden you see both teams play with pride and play really hard when they get momentum's going their way. And I just see something big happen, maybe out of Sellers, but maybe you get see maybe a Harbor sighting with a big play and just gets everybody in the crowd involved and gets everyone going.
All right, Ryan Brewer, former Gamecock. You were sponsored on our little segment during Gamecocks Game Day by a phenomenal human being named Ryan Brewer, who owns Ryan Brewer Fence. Talk about that guy and his fence company.
Yeah, and I appreciate this week this year being able to advertise myself and company and my team. That's again 20 years of doing this and having a great group around us that put up fence every day, all day. In the great state of South Carolina, from residential to commercial stuff, temporary fence, railings, custom gates, custom rails, custom whatever your heart desires, we can make with our fab shop, and just anything you think of for your pet pool, and be able to secure it around your home, we can do it. And just go to ryanbrewer.net and look us up, and we can take care of you.
Again, I appreciate you again this year helping us out, giving us some good thoughts on Gamecocks Game Day. Thanks again there, Ryan Brewer, former Gamecock.
I appreciate Terry. I appreciate it. This is a big one. So hopefully everybody brings their A game today. And I'm sure, as I can already tell, it's going to be an all day fight and all day slugfest out there. So it's going to be a big one, and let's go Gamecocks.
Gamecocks Game Day live from Jay's Corner, sponsored by LexMed Ortho. There will be no planting of a flag at the 50-yard line at Williams-Brice if Clemson would win today. Dabo not down with the planting of the flag thing on the logos.
Well, let's hope they don't get the opportunity to
No,
do that. If
not at
Carolina
all.
handles business, we don't have to worry about
No,
that.
not at all. I won't lie to you. Just me personally, really quick about that. By the way, Gamecocks Game Day sponsored by LexMed Ortho at Jay's Corner, right across from Williams-Brice. We'll be here till 9. Then Chris and Chet take over with the network pregame. Todd and Tommy on the call. Kick noon. South Carolina Clemson rivalry day is here. The logo thing, really quick. I understand it to a point. But if somebody plants their flag on your logo, I don't think massive felonies and assault need to happen. The best way to stop it is to do what?
Win.
Yeah. Just saying.
You have 4 quarters and 60 minutes of football to prevent that team from outscoring you so they don't have the opportunity to plant a flag on your logo. And I don't know why this has become like a rampant thing in college football the past couple of years, but think of the children. Like, come on.
I'm like, why does this have to cause such a violent reaction about planting a flag on the logo?
A lot of the times the team that loses shows more fight defending their midfield logo than they did in the entire game.
Like Ohio State.
Like Ohio State last year. It's if you would have played like this, you wouldn't have had to worry about that.
I know. Where was all this fire for 4 quarters?
Right there on the TV.
And they're showing it from last year with Ohio State, Michigan, which today is at noon as well. All right, so Clemson, it's weird, man. When you sit and you look at stats, right? You go, Cade Klubnik completed almost 70% of his passes this year with 16 TDs, 5 picks, with 13 big-time throws, only 5 turnover-worthy plays. You got TJ Moore averaging 16 yards a catch. You got Antonio Williams with almost 50 catches. You sit and you look at this offense and you go, okay, the surface stats look okay, or whatever. But then once you deeper dive into it, it's been a very inconsistent, clunky offense who has had high highs and low lows, and sometimes when you needed them the most, they weren't there. It's been a very weird season for the Clemson offense. It's probably going to cost Garrett Riley, the offensive coordinator's job.
I think that's almost a given, unless he goes out there and puts up 70 points a day, which I think we're all hoping doesn't happen. Yeah, Cade Klubnik, and we talked about this so much in the offseason of what this game was supposed to be. This was supposed to be a matchup between 2 teams that were probably going to be in the college football playoff mix, but 2 quarterbacks headed for New York for the Heisman Trophy, possibly both going to be first-round draft picks because these guys are projected so high in the offseason. And Cade Klubnik made such a step forward last year in his first full year as the starter, or second full year as starter, excuse me. And this year he's regressed so much. Now he's gotten better as the weeks have gone by. Hasn't been turning the ball over as much. Been completing more of his passes in these last handful of weeks. But you saw, even in the Louisville game a couple weeks ago, some of those mental mistakes, like handing it off to Peter Woods on the goal line when it wasn't designed to go to him. Like those kind of things that have kind of cropped up over the years, reared their ugly heads again in the past couple of games. And you just kind of wonder how that's going to affect him today. And I was reading some of the things on Tiger Illustrated. There's a lot of belief that last year's loss has weighed on him a lot in this offseason and going into this game. So how much does that factor in today as well?
Remember, Klubnik got flushed and under pressure, threw the ball back across his body, and Demetrius Knight picked it off. And Clemson was driving.
They were.
They were
give
driving.
Them credit. It looked like we were maybe head for overtime, or they were going to score the last touchdown and win the game that way. And, Stewart got the pressure. He threw the ball short, and obviously Demetrius Knight picked it off, and the rest is history.
Klubnik this year under pressure, speaking of pressure, 35% of his dropbacks, Cade Klubnik has been pressured this year, only completing 46% of his passes under pressure. That's not very good. Also, he's had 5 interceptions this year. 3 are under pressure. So if you can pressure Klubnik, bad things can happen. 4 of his turnover-worthy plays also been under pressure this year.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. He hasn't been sacked as much. They've only given up 16 sacks on the year, but the pressure is there. So you can getting him in the grounds a little bit harder. Hasn't been sacked as much in these last couple games. So that's going to be an interesting battle today to see how South Carolina's pass rush can get to and affect Cade Klubnik.
And I also wonder, because we talk about how in Lenora Seller's second year as a starter, all we heard about early in the year was, progressions and don't take off too quick and go through your reads. Cade Klubnik has not used his legs this year like he did last year, to be fair.
Right.
And I wonder if that's from Garrett Riley, the offensive coordinator, saying, okay, this year we want to evolve you into more of a pocket guy and not some guys. And I think about this with Lenoris in a way. Some guys are they're dual threat guys.
Sure.
And what they do well is dual threat, using their legs and their arms. Get them starting to process and think too much. Maybe you're taking away some of the things that make them who they are. And maybe that's the thing with Kate Klubnik this year, too. The other thing is the weird thing, this is interesting. Deep ball thrower, Kate Klubnik's only hitting 34% of his deep balls. Nothing special. But of the 13 he's hit, all 13 have been big-time throws.
Yeah.
So that's the weird thing with Klubnik. He'll make a throw and you go, wow. And he'll make a throw and you go, ooh.
Yeah. They're 34th in the nation in explosive pass plays this year. His deep ball numbers are down a little bit from last year, but he's gotten a whole lot better in those intermediate throws. 10 to 19, that went up to 65% from 58% a year ago. So throwing downfield is something you have to account for today. He's going to be without Bryant Wesco against those key guys in that trio of wide receivers that they have, and their primary tight end, Pat Henry, also not going to be playing today as he's dealing with an injury. He's somebody that factors in a lot when it comes to the blocking game on offense as well. So a couple of key pieces on offense not going to be there for Kate Klubnik.
All right, real quick, Clemson has dropped 23 passes this year. They have had trouble. But here's, the interesting part of Clemson. Antonio Williams, their best wide receiver this year, has only one drop all season. TJ Moore, arguably their second best wide receiver, 0 drops. But get this, Wesco's out. Wesco had 5 drops this year. We're talking about the tight end, Henry.
Mm-hmm.
He this year has 4 drops. You ready for this? The running back, Adam Randall, 6 drops. So I'm
he's a former wide receiver.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say. So it's been a mixed bag with Clemson. The offensive line, that also is a deal where you've got guys who, you got some youngins and you got some veterans, and they thought this offensive line was really going to step up for them this year in consistency. And look, Blake Miller's been good protecting the passer, but they've got a mixed bag in giving up pressures this year. There again, a lack of consistency in really pass protecting for Kate Klubnik.
Yeah, all 5 of their offensive linemen that will be starting today have all given up double-digit pressures this year. Again, the sacks numbers aren't crazy, but still they let guys get to them and affect Kate Klubnik, and that's going to be, again, a big key today.
And the run game has been an issue, from blocking for the run to running the football. Adam Randall, again, very inconsistent. Some good moments about. He's gotten better lately as years went. To be honest, he was converting from a wide receiver, to be fair. But the offense, again, for Clemson has been better lately in this 3-game win streak. But it's been a weird year for them on both sides of the ball, defensively as well. I mean, look, they've got guys who are going to play in the NFL on defense.
They've got first rounders.
I mean, when you got Peter Woods, you've got TJ Parker, and they haven't not been their best defensive lineman this year. A dude out of the portal arguably has been their best defensive lineman.
Yeah, Will Help, the guy that came in out of the portal, and we were all with our jaws on the floor, like, oh my God, that was when he actually went out and got somebody from the portal. Has done a really good job this year. But yeah, again, TJ Parker, those guys, Peter Woods, they're all going to hear their names called.
They've
pretty
been a disappointment,
early
both
in
of
the
them
draft.
this year in a lot
but
of ways.
considering what the expectations were, maybe not quite living up to those. Though those guys who have a couple sacks, they can't get pressure. That is going to be a battle to watch today against what we know is a poor offensive line for South Carolina.
Well, I'll throw you another level of concern for the offensive line is that Tom Allen has blitzed at least 30% of the time in every game this year.
Yes,
there are very few defenses that blitz more than Clemson, and they're coming after you. So you have dudes up front who can get after your quarterback, and you got a defensive coordinator who likes to send extra guys. But here's the flip side of that. The secondary has been, and I'm going to use a technical term, bleh.
Yeah.
They can't tackle, they can't cover. Besides that, they're fine, Tyler.
I was going to say that's been their biggest inefficiency on defense, is their ability to cover. And obviously we go back to how important it's going to be to have a guy like Nick Harbor healthy and available for today to be able to take care of that. Obviously we saw what he's been able to do in these last handful of games, the last game that he played with Mike Furry as the offensive play caller. And that's going to be an area that you're going to need to exploit. 98th in pass defense in the nation, 238 yards per game. That's something you need to take advantage of today.
And 40% of their missed tackles this year by the secondary.
Yep.
So if you get the ball out quick, you can negate the pass rush in the blitz game, and you can get the ball to some of your playmakers, and maybe they can make some guys miss. Then you get some yak yards. That feels like the best way to attack them, at least early. And then before it's over with, you can run Nick Harbor down the field and hopefully beat some of these guys who've been getting beat all year.
So in the last 10 matchups between these two teams, the team that won the rushing battle won 9 of those games. It might come down to which team can find a way to run the ball better today.
And two teams who have had trouble running the football.
So it's like which team can somewhat run the ball today.
Last thing with Clemson and special teams, they have given up a kick return for a touchdown this year, but they also have guys who can take it back to the house in the return game. So your coverage units have to be good. But Clemson, again, they have given up one that goes to the house. So we'll see
Yeah.
with Vakari Swain, Nick
Okay.
Harbor, if there's something there.
They got a very consistent kicker, Nolan Hauser.
Yep.
Very good from 40 to 49, 1 of 2 at 50 plus, 14 of 17 on the year. So in what we could be a low-scoring slugfest of a game, field goals are going to matter. And again, Carolina's kicking's been a little suspect this year.
And when you talk about the Clemson kid, he's the one that kicked that 95-yarder against SMU last year
That's
in the
right.
ACC championship
in the bitter
game.
cold to
Yep.
send them to the college football playoff.
So that's the deal with Clemson offense, defense, and special teams. We will now jump back in and talk about the good guys. The South Carolina Gamecocks going into rivalry day. Again, Gamecocks Game Day live from Jay's Corner right across from Williams-Brice, sponsored by LexMed Ortho. Terry Ford, Tyler Head, David Air back in the studio. Jeannie has run to get coffee because Jeannie couldn't feel her hands. So we will be here up until 9. Then the network takes over with Chris Miller, Chet Tucker. Noon kick, Todd and Tommy on the call. It's here. Carolina, Clemson, and you can hear it right here on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game. All right, we heard there a little Mike Furry, Clayton White, and also Joe D, the coordinators for South Carolina as we get ready for South Carolina Clemson. Gamecocks game day. David Dare back in the studio. Jeannie ran to get coffee. Tyler Heads here. Terry Ford. We are cooking up until 9 o'clock, and then the network takes over with the pregame kickoff at noon. We are always sponsored by our buds at LexMed Ortho. Injury news is good. Shane Beamer on Carolina Calls, the Tuesday version, gave us the last injury report that we've gotten, and here's the coach.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to jinx us because we're doing this on Tuesday and we have 2 more days of practice. But as of right now, everybody's good to go. Dylan practiced today. Nick practiced today. Cisse practiced today. Jalewis was limited. He's probably doubtful still for Saturday. But those other guys, as we sit here on Tuesday night, we fully expect to be available on Saturday.
So I feel pretty good injury-wise for South Carolina.
And again, all things considered, this has been a relatively healthy season. Again, Casey Henry kind of your only big significant loss for a long period of time. And again, you understand why you hold out Dylan Stewart and Nick Harvey. You didn't need those guys to beat Coastal last week and give them some extra rest. And hopefully it sounds like they're good to go for today.
Yeah, man, that's the other frustrating part of the season. It's like you can't sit back and say, well, you're 4-7 because you were devastated by injuries.
Right. And 2023, okay, a little bit more of an excuse, especially on the offensive line. But yeah, this year, you've been healthy for the most part, and there's other reasons why this season's gone sideways.
And the hope is you're coming off a game, obviously where you scored over 50 points first time. You've come close to that this year, and in the last 2 games, you have eclipsed 350 total yards. You have scored over 30 points. So offensively, you have gotten some stuff going in the last 2 weeks. And you're hoping it carries into today against Clemson. Lenore Sellers this season pressured over 42% of his dropbacks. Much better last week against an outmanned and overmatched Coastal squad. What was it? Under 20% of his dropbacks he was pressured. So, again, what does that say? It says, I hate to say this, I say that's the opponent last week. Not that all of a sudden we fixed the offensive line.
Yeah, and again, that Coastal defense was bad.
Yeah, very
just
bad.
About
One of the
category.
worst in the country bad.
I don't think that's indicative of what's going to happen today. But what I have liked from what I've seen out of Mike Furry, who he himself has one more opportunity to, audition for the job of offensive coordinator that's going to be filled here very, very soon. He has been moving the pocket. He's been using Sellers more in the run game. All these things we've been talking about this entire year that are so frustrating with Mike Shula. Mike Furry is doing those things, and we are seeing success because of it.
Yeah, and we're seeing also what we hope of this all Warren Howell, and also these wide receivers. We've seen Sellers start to evolve. He knows somebody.
Yeah.
Also, Brian Rowe this year in what fits in spurts. Brian Rowe has showed up and done some stuff here, and Donovan Murph last week kind of got it going as well. And so you sit back and you say, all right, we're seeing the young guys overall maybe start to step up a little bit. I can't forget Matt Fuller. Also in this, you got a couple young running backs, you got some young wide receivers. We forget something. Harbor does have a year of eligibility left if he wants to use it next year as well. So we're maybe seeing what the future could be in the passing game for South Carolina with these wide receivers. Yeah,
and again, that's something we talked about in the offseason, these young guys coming in and having an impact. And I think you would say that Jaden Sellers has kind of emerged out of that pack as leader of that group. And certainly he's done a lot of good things here as of late. Obviously very cool to see him get a touchdown with his brother last week. And again, I kind of expected when Furry took over as the offensive coordinator, we would see these wide receivers be used in different variety of ways. Because again, he's the wide receivers coach. He knows what these guys are capable of, and that's certainly what we've seen. So I imagine there was a lot of things in the back of his mind when he took over play calling, like, all right, Shula didn't do this, I'm going to do this myself.
It's like, I know what I want to do now. And the other part is, look, today, again, get the ball out of Lenore's hands quick, get it to these receivers in some space and see if they can pick up some yak yards against a bad tackling secondary, but also take your shots downfield with Nick Harbor against a secondary that can't cover.
Yeah.
So there are plays to be made here.
All right.
In this game against Clemson's pass defense. It is there to do. If you can execute it and block it, you have a shot to get some stuff done against this secondary.
Yeah, and again, can you get any kind of semblance of a ground game going? This is a Clemson defense that does hold teams to lower rushing totals. So if you can get something going on the ground, that can hopefully open up the passing game. And again, my biggest question is, what version of Sellers do we see? Because we've seen confident, we've seen unconfident. And again, it seems like we've seen more of a confident Sellers in the past 2 games with Mike Furry's play caller, the second half against A&M. kind of reverted back to what he was under Mike Shula. But because again, he was the one that made the play last year that won this game. What version of Sellers we see today is going to be very indicative for how successful South Carolina is going to be.
Sellers has been more comfortable the last couple of weeks. I think that what we've seen, again, because Mike Furry's doing some things now that seem to be more of Lenore Sellers' comfort level. Correct, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So, but you're right. Lenore's even look, let's go back to the A&M game. First half, thumbs up. Second half, thumbs down. So we will see what Lenore shows up, to your point. And offensive line-wise, this has been a very interesting season. What's the combination this week? What are we going to see? I mean, obviously, we're going to see Josiah Thompson, outside of Tad. We're going to see Boaz Stanley, most likely at center. We have seen Trevon Ball guard. Shed Surratt's going to be there in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where Tree Barbalotti's been.
Yeah, you're just pointing it out. The last couple games with Furry taking over, we haven't really seen him. And there's not been an injury that we've been aware of. And again, it's maybe one of those things that when he was looking at the offense as a whole, saying, okay, well, I don't know if he's our best option at that other tackle spot.
And we've seen Nick Sharp play a lot more guard, and we've seen Shed Surratt moved out to tackle. So what offensive line combination is going today?
Yeah.
All right, flip side, defensively, look, Clemson, again, has been an inconsistent offense, but they will take deep shots on you.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to test you deep down the field with their wide receivers. Again, Cade Klubnik struggles in pressure, so if you can get pressure on Klubnik, he might make some mistakes. And Adam Randall's kind of a wild card. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry, but it's been an inconsistent run game. The offensive line's been hit or miss. South Carolina defensively, just be who you've been. You're healthy now. You got Dylan Stewart back. If you just play the level you've been playing pretty much all year, and Clayton White's had their number the last 2 years.
Nick Klubnik has yet to throw a touchdown against the Clayton White defense.
What, 2 offensive touchdowns in 2 years?
Yep, both of those were on the ground last year. Threw a pick in each of the other games. So, yeah, if you can hopefully keep that streak going and keep them out of the end zone through the end, it could be a big key today. It's also a defense. The struggles on third down. They're 91st, or excuse me, 118th in the nation in third down conversion. They don't get in the red zone a ton against similar issues to South Carolina. So, can you stop them on third down? Can you keep them out of the red zone? 2 keys today.
The thing about football today, it really is, and I always look at it with defense, but obviously offensively as well. Third down, red zone, force field goals, get after quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Forget total yards a game, all those other stats we grew up looking at. How are you on third down? Can you get off the field? Can you keep teams out of the red zone? If you get the red zone, can you force field goals?
Right.
And can you quarterback passively on? Those are the keys to defense, and obviously turnovers are big. And offensively, can you win third down? Can you win first down? Because first down leads to good third down in distance.
That's right.
It's just different now. All those stats we looked at when we were younger, I mean, I'm not saying they don't matter, but they don't matter as much as we thought they did, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Special teams-wise, you brought it up earlier. William Joyce has only missed 3 kicks this year. All 3, though, are 40 yards or longer. So that's a thing to keep an eye on. Obviously, South Carolina's got guys in the return game that if you give them a crease, they could possibly hurt you. You got to block. No block punts today.
Yeah.
You have a block punt today.
The one complaint from last week was that block punt, and obviously that's something that Clemson's going to be looking to exploit. And you're right. Again, Vakari Swain had the great start of the season with 3 punt return touchdowns in the first 2 games. And I know it's kind of gotten lost in the shuffle with struggles this year, but he's been a really good punt return. He's been able to get you good field position, flip field at times can be a big key today. Yes, you would love to see him run one all the way into the house. That would obviously help you out a lot, but just getting yourself in good field position to help your offense out be a big key today too.
Yep. And once again, coverage unit wise, Clemson's got guys who can take one to the house, and they have the advantage on kicker.
Yes, they do.
So keep that in mind as we move forward here. All right, Gamecocks game day. We will pop back in and hear from our buddy Preston Thorne. Deep thoughts from the former Gamecock. That is next. We are live from Jay's Corner, right across from Williams Bryce. We are sponsored by LexMed Ortho. It is Gamecocks game day. Tyler Head, David Argini, Terry Ford. We're here till 9. Then the network post game takes over. Kickoff at noon. Rivalry day is here. South Carolina, Clemson. Today on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game. All right, Gamecocks Game Day live at Jay's Corner right across from Williams Bryce. Sponsored by LexMed Ortho. Once again, menu phenomenal. The wrap thing, I can't remember what was in it, but man, it was good. Had a wrap here.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's like
chicken. It was chicken,
it's
man.
like a
It was
chicken
really
Caesar.
Good.
Is
Yeah,
that
it was
what
good. It was
Yeah.
good. Obviously, the Captain Crunch chicken tenders are good. Burgers are good. What'd you have that one day? You had you had some kind of. Did you have a chicken sandwich that one
I
day?
had
or
chicken
whatever you
sandwich.
had?
That was good too.
Yeah, all good here.
Yeah, I think we've tried to. I
We-
think we've all tried everything.
Again,
here so
our
far.
job is to sample the menu to let you, the listener, know how good it is.
That's right.
Sweet potato fries are
It's our
phenomenal.
sworn duty to you.
I mean, we do it because we love and care.
Right. We care.
Absolutely. So you can come to Jay's Corner to either get on your way to Williams Bryce, or you can come to Jay's Corner and watch the game in warmth if you want.
That might be the move today, honestly.
That might be the pull. It will be nice and
'Cause
warm
it's
here.
not going to get a whole lot warmer outside.
There are beverages and there's food. Not bad. So we are here at Jay's Corner. Again, always sponsored by LexMed Ortho here on Gamecocks Game Day. David here back in the studio. Jeannie probably still sitting in the drive-thru line at McDonald's. Tyler Head, Terry Ford. We go till 9 here on the game. Kickoff is noon. Network pregame at 9 with Chris and Chet. All right, so before we look forward to today, real quick rewind to yesterday. Georgia, again, who no one talked about most of the year, runs for 1 billion yards last night against a bad Georgia Tech defense. Georgia Tech is forced to kick field goals. Georgia, in the clean, good old-fashioned hate, once again wins. It was a slobber knocker. It was a rock fight. Georgia wins, and guess who right now is in the SEC championship game?
That would be Georgia. And it's funny.
This is so Georgia, by the way, isn't it?
Funny because I think you ask most Georgia fans, like, we really don't care to be in the game this year. They would much rather probably take a week off because they do have some injuries that they're dealing with, get rested up for maybe even having a bye in the playoff, not having to play until December 31st or January 1st. But, yeah, things fall the way last night. It's like, oh, okay, well, it looks like after how this year has been, it looks like we might end up with Georgia and Alabama in the SEC.
I was going to say, if Alabama handles their business in the Iron Bowl on the Plains, you got Georgia, Alabama in the SEC championship game.
As chaotic as this whole season has been, some things are just absolute. And Georgia and Alabama in the championship game just seems like one of those things.
But here's the thing. Really, neither one wants to be there.
Not really.
And here's the thing with Alabama. Look, I think if Alabama wins today, in my opinion, they should be in the college football playoff.
Yeah, they
Full
will.
stop.
And the committee has told us that they're not going to punish you for losing an extra game.
And you shouldn't. But here's the thing. If you're Alabama, A, you want to rest up, and B, you don't want to take a third loss because, again, now you open the door for kookiness.
Right.
You lose your seeding as well.
You don't want to put the power of you getting in the hands of 13 people. And let's face it, maybe not be the most qualified to make those decisions.
But they're very objective, Tyler.
That's right. Well, we got the guy making 6-7 jokes on the reveal show. Like, yeah, that's what I want to hear out of the guy with all this power.
Exactly. So neither Alabama or Georgia really wants to be there. Texas A&M was dying to be there.
Oh,
that's the ironic part.
Listen, and again, Georgia and Alabama, they're not even going to sell the place out because their fans are going to be more concerned with playoff games coming up. A&M would have traveled very well to Atlanta.
A&M would have brought the Yell Squad, all the guys in the military gear, the mascot, and probably 100,000 people from College Station to the SEC championship game.
They haven't played for a championship, conference championship in 30 years. Yeah. They've been dying for it. All they had to do was handle their business last night.
And they didn't.
They did not.
Texas decided to pick last night to run the ball for the first time all year. They ran for over 200 yards.
Their first 100-yard rusher on the season in game number 12.
Arch Manning was awful in the first half, really good in the second half. The Texas defense shut down A&M. Marcel Reed threw 2 really, really crucial picks in the fourth quarter. And Texas beats Texas A&M in Austin. Now the Aggies are out of the SEC championship game, but will be in the college football.
Yeah, that's kind of the complex thing about this 12-team playoff. Now it's like, yeah, last night sucks for them, but it's like, okay, well, now they're probably just going to host a first-round playoff game instead because all of their data points are done. Like they'll probably be, I don't know, 6th or 7th coming up tonight or Tuesday in the latest rankings.
They'll be fine. They're in. They can breathe. And Ole Miss is in 38-19 over Mississippi State. But I'm going to tell you this. So I'm watching the game. And they talk more about Lane Kiffin's decision than the bleeping game.
Yes.
And after a while, I'm like, can you guys please just talk about the game? And I'm to the point now, I don't give a bleep what Lane Kiffin does. I want this over with.
Yeah.
I've had enough. I'm OD'd on Lane Kiffin. Let's move on. Stay at Ole Miss, go to LSU, go to the CFL, go to the World League of Football, go coach a rec team somewhere. I don't care what you do now. Just make a decision. Let's move on.
Well, and the funny part is we don't even have like a time for
sometime
when it's going to happen today. And I'm betting on like halftime of the Iron Bowl.
Oh, sure.
Where he knows everybody's going to be watching. Well, let me make this about me. And again, I think he's going to go to LSU. He may stay at Ole Miss. I don't know, but this is one of the most weird and complicated stories I've ever seen in college football.
I just want to say this. I don't want to get stuck on this because we have other games to get to. But here's my thing on this. First of all, Lane brought this on himself.
Yes, he did.
I have no pity for Lane Kiffin. I don't want to hear about, hey guys, let's keep it on. No, you took this off the road in the most important time for your football team with this nonsense.
Oh, by the way, they might be playing for the SEC championship game next week if Alabama loses tonight.
So you brought this nonsense on yourself and your team, which is I thought Lane was a little bit more. I thought he had evolved. Yeah. Obviously not. 2, I'd stay at Ole Miss. I've said this a million times. I think you got everything you need at Ole Miss with the Grove Collective and with Rev Share and all the things going on today. You made the college football playoff. Last year, you arguably had the best roster in the nation. The things you want to achieve, I think you can achieve in Oxford. But if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU, I get it. They won national championships. They got pedigree. They got resources. They got money, blah, blah, blah. All I know is this. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore. And this calendar is so goofy and so asinine that you're going to have a coach possibly leave his team right before a playoff run is the most stupidest thing I've ever seen. But once again, college football is not proactive. They're reactive. So maybe the supposedly smart people who are in charge of this thing will realize just how dumb this is.
Well, they have to meet to decide if we're going to go to 16 yet next year or not. That's the most pressing matter to them.
Well, let's have a committee to form a committee just to investigate a committee about all this stuff.
We all know Coach Leach's thoughts on committees.
This calendar is so dumb.
Yeah.
It's past.
I've heard it put perfectly. It's like if NFL free agency and the draft were happening while the playoffs were going on,
and you could poach an NFL coach right before the playoffs. It's all stupid.
It's broken, and again, that's why we're in the situation that we're in.
All right. Today, what we're seeing is Ohio State, Michigan, in Ann Arbor. Ohio State feels like they haven't won this game since like 1987. It feels like it's been 4 straight Michigan wins. It feels like, but last year I said this, it feels like Ohio State should win this year. They're far and away the better team, but I think Michigan's got a better roster this year than they did last year.
Michigan's a sneaky good team. By the way, if they win today, they make a really good case to be in the playoff themselves.
I know.
Throw a wrench into all this, but look, last year, and I think there's some truth to this, I think Ohio State tried to beat Michigan at their own game, a big physical running the football, and that's not what Ohio State was a year ago. We saw Ohio State. They're an explosive team with a lot of good weapons at wide receiver that is just going to score 50 points on you, and that's what won them the national championship. If Ryan Day can get out of his own head, I think Ohio State should be able to win this game pretty comfortably.
Michigan wins a rock fight with Ohio State. You have to stop rock fighting with Michigan.
Yes.
Because they got bigger rocks.
Make it a track meet. You're good at track meets.
You're good at track meets. You're terrible at rock fights. Their rocks are bigger and they hurt worse.
Yes.
You're good at track meets. They can't catch you.
Right.
So Ohio State, if you track meet today, you win. I agree 100%. But if Michigan does win, here's something really quick. If Michigan does win, what does it say about Ohio State?
Oof.
They've won 1 game this year of any consequence, and Texas,
Yeah.
What does it say about we have propped Ohio State up all year because they won the national title last year, and they've been road grading people all year. But look at that schedule.
I think we'd almost be having the same conversation we had about Indiana last year. It's like, all right, yeah, you made it through, but none of your wins are all that impressive outside of the win against Texas. And I would say that the Texas they played in week number 1 is much different than the Texas that's playing as of right now. And again, Ohio State's a much bigger brand, so we're not going to talk about them or look at them the same way. But I see if they lose today, it's kind of those similarities. Like this would definitely be their second best win today.
And how far do they fall in the college football playoff rankings if they would lose?
Yeah.
Ann Arbor?
Now look, they're in the playoff
They're
no matter
in.
what.
Yeah,
like,
they're in no matter what. But how far would they fall?
Here's the funny thing: Michigan could play for the conference championship next week by winning this game.
I know.
How
I
crazy is
guess
that?
who wouldn't?
Ohio State. By the way, do you know the last time
insane.
Ohio State played? This sounds crazy. They've not played for the Big Ten championship since 2020.
Think about that for a minute.
5 years.
Think about that. And they've been in the
5
college
years.
football playoff how many times?
And won a national championship.
Exactly. All right, the kooky ACC. This could be easy. Virginia, SMU win. They play for the ACC championship.
It's not going to be that easy.
No, because it's the ACC. Virginia or SMU or both will lose today. And then this thing goes to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
Pitt is hosting Miami. It's supposed to be cold. How cold is it in Miami usually?
85.
How cold is it today in Pittsburgh?
34.
That's always a thing when you put warm weather teams in places where it's really cold. You can see your own breath.
Yeah.
We'll see how it affects Miami today. Pitt could win this football game just on weather.
They could. And look, they still need help to get to
Yes.
the conference championship game, but their pathway's there. And Miami's in this weird no man's land of like, well, they're close, but they're not going to make the conference championship. They need chaos to happen in front of them to get an at-large bid. Like, I'd be so conflicted as a Miami fan.
Well, here's my thing with Miami. Miami has to go out there, and I don't think they'll do this. They have to go out there and whoop. They have to take Pitt to the woodshed today.
Yes.
And I don't think they can do it, especially because they're going to be too busy going like this. God, it's cold. God, it's cold. Easy Big 12. Texas Tech will play for the championship. BYU has to win. They have to beat
Actually,
Central Florida
by
team.
Arizona State losing last night, BYU's in.
Are they in
So
automatically
that is
now?
a guarantee.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because Arizona State got whooped by Arizona last
They got
night.
beat pretty bad. So
Who's
yes,
the starting quarterback at Arizona State?
Jeff Sims, who's been playing
Come
for
on now.
27 years.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, it is confirmed Texas Tech and
Okay.
BYU next
All right,
week.
so it doesn't matter what BYU does. And Vanderbilt, the number 14 team in the country, plays number 15 Tennessee. Vanderbilt, if Vanderbilt wins and some other people give Vanderbilt help, we can see the Commodores in the college football playoff. They got to win in Knoxville. But guess what? Tennessee's defense, not very defensive.
I would say the Texas win last night complicates this
Yes,
more
it
because they have the
does.
head-to-head win over Vanderbilt. But listen, I'm Team Chaos. I'd like to see Vanderbilt get in.
I love it.
But hey, they got to handle their business today.
And Oklahoma should beat LSU at home to get in the college football playoff.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem.
All right, we will jump back in here and talk with our buddy Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central as we get our keys to the game for a South Carolina victory. That is next here on Gamecocks Game Day live from Jay's Corner right across from Williams-Brice. We are sponsored by LexMed Ortho. We go till about another segment. Then we have the SEC report. Then Chris and Chet take over with the network pregame kick at noon. Rivalry day is here. South Carolina, Clemson. You can hear it right here on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game. All right, we got our buddy Jack Velcher from Gamecock Central in here. Our keys to victory. It is Gamecocks Game Day, sponsored by LexMed Ortho. We are at Jay's Corner, right across from Williams Bryce, getting you ready for South Carolina Clemson noon kick right here on 107.5 The Game in Columbia and our affiliate 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. All right, Jack Velcher, it's here. Carolina Clemson. Top key to victory for the Gamecocks. What do you got, pal?
Yeah, they're going to have to, play really physical. They're going to have to, win the battle up front. You can't allow Lenore Sellers to get sacked in this game.
Jack sounds cold, Tyler.
I would say, Jack, you
You in
bundled up.
bed
You
still?
warm? Do you have your Bills cap on yet?
You all right?
No, I'm just getting hurry up out of here.
Oh man! All right. So we talk about the keys to, and you're right. I mean, you have to be physical. Yeah, you cannot let Lenora Sellers get pressured and sacked like we've seen at times this year. Defensively, they're going to take some shots when you're deep down the field, and they haven't run the ball really consistently well all year. They haven't done anything consistently well all year on offense as Clemson.
No, they really haven't. It's been a difficult year for South Carolina in general, but I would definitely say, you got to really have Lenore do his thing in this game. I mean, he's got to be Superman for South Carolina, and you just really got to get him going today. Yeah, I know Clemson's going to bring pressure. I know they're going to go try and sack him, but honestly, in this game, you just got to hold up offensively. You got to hold up the blocking, and you got to make sure he's staying off the ground. But also, if it does come down to it, I think Lenore will be able to tuck and run out of some sacks.
On the other side of things, Cade Klubnik has not had his best performances against these Clayton White defenses. No touchdown passes, 2 interceptions the past 2 games. Did get a couple touchdowns on the ground last year. I've seen him play better as of late. Got to contain him today. Got to get pressure on him, which teams have been able to do to affect him back there in the pocket.
Yeah, Cade's been up and down this year for sure. Playing a little bit better as of late. Had some good moments, but I still think South Carolina's done pretty well against him over the years. The main thing I'll say is that in this game, you got to limit him on the ground. You can't let him run kind of wild like he did last year for a pair of touchdowns and really kept Clemson in that game until the end. So that's the big thing today is limit the mistakes and also make sure Cade Klubnik he's not running wild in this one.
All right. The other thing, Jack, last thing for you real quick. Clemson blitzes over 30% of the time in every game with Tom Allen as the OC. They're going to bring heat. They've got some guys who are going to be high picks in the NFL draft. They've kind of been disappointing this year. Get the ball out of Linares' hands quick. Get it to the receivers, the playmakers, the yak guys, and go up against a secondary that has not been good at all this year. Maybe take some shots down the field with Harbor.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay. Sorry.
Hey, what do you got a prediction? The music's scared, Jack. Hey, Jack, give me a prediction real quick. What's going to happen?
Yep, South Carolina wins 31-17.
Appreciate you, my friend. What you got there, Tyler?
I got South Carolina 24-22 in a weird game.
I got 23-20 South Carolina. I see William Joyce banging one home from like 32 yards with 2-3 seconds left. I think it's going to be tight. I think South Carolina finds a way to win the game. And you go off 5-7, and at least you salvage something in a very disappointing season.
We'll take it.
Tyler Head, fine job like always this year. David Dare,
you.
fine job. Jeannie, great job. Terry Ford, thank you for hanging out with us. Gamecocks Game Day. Thank the folks here at Jay's Corner for having us this year, and LexMed Ortho for sponsoring Gamecocks Game Day. Up next, SEC Report. Then we get to the network, and then kick off at noon right here on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.